There's a couple of demos here on how I painted some roses a few years ago. Hit the like and subscribe and check out some of my other channels because I'm going to be painting roses again soon over on my oil painting channel. You need an accurate drawing for roses. They're very complex and we easily spot if you get them wrong. You still want to paint it loose, but start thin to start with. Just paint the shapes of the petals, but that's what I'm doing. I'm painting shapes rather than what I think I know. So it comes around here. I think it'd be good to establish a dark in here as well. And the thing to remember with roses that I've found, having painted a few of them, that the tonal changes is all very subtle on the roses. That, for instance, there's a shadow here. That's not going to be as dark as you think. More paint, and to make it darker, I'll just use a bit of burnt umber, which will keep it warm. This is where having a laminated photo is quite useful because you can just check your tonal value. So, pretty good. So, it's a shadow, and perhaps an amateur mistake would be to start reaching for the black paint. No, it's not. It's still red or a brown colour. I've got two brushes on the go. One which has just got my red, and one that's got my shadow colour on there. And now it goes darker again. So I'll just add a little bit of blue in there. Darker still. And like I say, I'm doing this first because I know this is going to be tricky to paint. That comes down around here. And it's only tricky because, it looks complex, and at the end of the day, as long as you just paint what you see, it'll be fine. Petal in there. Dark in there. Maybe a bit darker than that. And say to a certain degree, you kind of just got to wing it and do the best you can. They're just so complex, the roses. I suppose the beauty is if you don't get the red perfect, that's more probably of a pinky red than I've got here, but obviously there's so many different colours of roses you can get. It's starting to look like a rose, which is promising. I'm lost already, but that's what happens. But I think the secret is just get your tonal values right, and we should be okay. You don't have to paint every petal for it to look like a rose. So dark down here. Just suggesting kind of what I could think I can see. And I just need a few little highlights on there now, which aren't going to be white for sure. So just a bit of white in that red. So obviously when you add the red to the white, it does kind of just send it straight to pink. Which now I don't want to lose the red that I've got, so be careful that I don't get too much of that in there. So really just lay the paint on here. Just with the lights catching it there. And once I get the background in and the darks around it, it should all hopefully fall into place. I'll leave that for the moment. So that's the bulk of the rose done, which I'm quite happy with that. So we've got the green leaves. So obviously the green and the red complementary colours. It's nature doing its stuff. That's pretty good. And again, that's probably darker than you think it is. So although I said, you've got to start with an accurate drawing, that you could paint these freehand without any drawing. However, the same applies. You need accuracy. The shapes need to be correct. So let's have a look at another one. Okay, I've done an acrylic painting underneath, which has given me the basic shape of this rose. And now I'm using oil paint. Looking at it as shapes, not thinking of it being an actual rose. Although it may seem that I'm just painting over what's already there, I'm paying a lot of attention to my reference source, the actual shape. As I've discovered with roses, as long as you get the overall shape of it correct, you can get away with quite a lot. So now we need to put some darker areas in, and the tonal shifts are very subtle, but I'm just toning it down with just a darker shade of red. I've been using scarlet red for the actual rose, which is very highly pigmented. And then I used a bit of Winsor & Newton cadmium red deep, just to tone it down a little bit. So I'm just painting the shadows under the petals, but again, not thinking of them as petals, just painting shapes that I see. Bring that round. Better shape. And the lighter areas, I'm going to try to avoid using too much white. So I'm using a bit of Yellow Lake, which is also a Michael Harding colour. I will put just a touch of white, but keep loading with the red and yellow to keep the saturation up of the colour. A little bit of white just for this part is really catching the light, but just a small amount because I don't want it to be chalky. Take care of that shape a little bit. there. And nicely load my brush up with some of this pure red. And I can load that on. These areas that I want to be really red. Nice little dark area. There. This part of the flowers in shadow. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Please hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.